I'll have everybody introduce themselves, because if you're just coming into the show this evening, if you're just coming in on the show this evening, you will want to get to know who we are. And I'd first like to introduce Candy Luck.
Candy Luck, aka Candy Love. Welcome to U.S. Discovery Talent
Radio.
Okay, my name is Mr. DT. I'm the cuckoo guy behind the scene.
He's the man that's given us the platform to speak to all of you.
He's the man with the vision.
That's right.
Good evening, radio fans. My name is Lava Girl, aka Volcano. Welcome to our show.
Good evening to you all. It is a pleasure to be connected with you tonight, and just welcome to our show.
And your name?
And my name is Angel.
And my name is Unique Inspiration, also known as
AKA
Mother Nature.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Double L, also known as Double Love.
Hello, I'm Lady Style, aka the Style Vixen.
Well, thank you, everyone, for sharing who you are. And I'd just like to talk a little bit about what we've been discussing for the last 2 shows. This is our 3rd show on the 5 love languages. And they include quality time, physical touch, acts of service, words of affirmation, and gifts. But tonight we're going to specifically talk about how those all come together when you're single. How does that all work? But because there's some challenges sometimes in being single, and how do all of these things work together in our personal lives as well? Because when you're single, you might be dating or you might not be dating. You know, all of these 5 love languages we hopefully use in our personal life with our family members and friends. So whether you're single, you're married, the show will help you understand the 5 love languages that we all need to use with each other, and the purpose of understanding each one of these, simply because when we talk to each other, we need to understand the other person that we're in a relationship with. We tend to come from the place of what's comfortable for us. But when you really learn the 5 love languages and you're in a relationship with another person, you are learning what love they speak, how they give love to you and to everybody that they know. And it's very important for us to know that, because they're getting, when you really love somebody, you're seeking out to reach out to that person in a very specific way, so that they can understand and grow closer to you in an intimate way. What I'd like to do first is to also tell you, the author of the 5 love languages is Gary Chapman. He wrote this book. He's also wrote a singles book. He's wrote a book on anger. There's many different books he's written. He went to the Moody Bible School and has many credentials that allow him to speak on this subject. So you might hear some of the things that you're hearing tonight really have to do with the books that I'm reading and sharing that with you. And because we're going to be speaking tonight specifically about singles, I'd like to open it up to everyone tonight. To first, let's just talk about what it's like to be single and what are the obstacles that you're faced with sometimes. Would anyone like to start?
having a date.
Can you talk a little bit more about that? What do you mean by that?
Well, you need to have a date so you can practice these love languages.
Well, that's very true. However, would you say that you also use these love languages with family members and friends?
I never thought of it until I came on this show.
Mm-hmm. And so, what are the challenges that you've had when you've been in the dating scene? First, let's talk about your specific situation in the respect that you're single right now, but not by choice. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how does that pose a problem for you, or you're happy about it, or you're not happy about it? Where are you at in this whole process of being single?
I'm tired of being alone.
Mm-hmm. So you feel lonely sometimes.
No, not lonely, but I'd like someone to go do things with.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, I've been a widow for 9 years, and it's like, okay, I'd kind of like to start sharing my life again with someone.
Well, that makes sense. That makes total sense. And is that difficult for you? Because it's been 9 years since you've been out there in dating. Is that difficult for you?
Yes, because where do you find potential dates?
Right.
But I know you have to get out of your house, but I don't want to go to bars.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they say you should go to church, and I go to church, but I haven't really joined anything at church, so I have to say that. But it's not like when you're in your 20s
Mm-hmm.
and your 30s and you're out there. So I'm finding it a little bit challenging, and the online dating, everyone says to do that, but I'm not so sure about that yet.
How does it feel when you go online dating? Do you feel like those online dating, they truthful? And what your experience with the system they put in place?
Honestly, I went on like a couple years ago, and I never responded to one person. You know, so I saw what came in, but I was like I never responded.
So in other words,
I wasn't ready, obviously.
in other words, you are curious. You see the water, you want to say, is it hot?
Mm-hmm.
It is cold? It is hot? It is cold? But you never, technically, you never experienced if it was bad or...
I didn't experience it.
Okay.
I'm a fraidy cat. As much as I want something, I'm afraid of it. So, I gotta...
But, by the way, anybody can jump in, please. This is not an interview. This is not an interview. We're just having fun.
Generation. It's funny because it's new, it's pretty modern, this type of dating, Maybe you that's why it's so hard for you to go and connect because you're not used to it.
Have you tried it?
No, because I'm married. I'm not
Oh,
single.
okay. How about anybody else here? Have they tried it? They want to share on it?
Well, yes, I tried it, Double D, back in, I guess, 2005.
But keep in mind, her name is Lava. It's hot.
It was pretty interesting. I had quite a bit of, people showing interest, and I was communicating with someone, the person that I chose, and I actually ended up meeting the person in New York when I went to New York, because he lived in New York, but it was a little awkward. I made sure I was with my cousin when we met, made sure she met him, and I felt comfortable after a while, but it just wasn't something that I thought would go anywhere or would grow or would, be able to reciprocate back a relationship, because we were so different, as time went on, I just shut it down. But now 2005. Here I am now in 2017, and I haven't been back on an online site at all.
Why?
I didn't think then that, well, I don't think now that it's something that I would be interested in doing to find a mate. I really would like to find one, you know, here within my surroundings, somewhere where I'm familiar with, places that I go and, you know, just here locally. I don't think that I need to do that to find someone that I would like to spend time with. I just don't have a desire right now for dating, even though, to be honest, I'm quite content in my life right now and the way God has it and where He's placed me and the things that He has me involved with, which is kingdom work. Yes, I would love to date again. Yes, I'd love to get married again. But for now, I can relate Double D's statement, Double L's statement, sorry,
Okay.
about, you know, wanting to share her life with someone again. You know, being divorced for 18 years and dating, you know, from the time I've been divorced, I did date here locally, you know, 2 or 3 times, but it was one relationship was serious enough for him to ask me to marry him, but no, that just wasn't the right time. So I'm glad and happy to be single right now. I make the best of it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
I just have a quick statement about online dating. Typically, I've tried it, but typically women will not tell the truth about their weight and age, and men will not tell the truth about their height and their income or what they do. It's usually padded. And I think I have a unique perspective in this room because I am the only one in this room who has never been married or close to marriage. So I would say that I have been out in the dating game for a very, very long time. I'm not going to give my age, but I'm like 50 plus, so that's a long time to be out in the dating game. Now, do I believe that you know, you hear that saying, there is someone out there for everyone.
Yeah.
But do I believe that? No.
That's good.
I just would like to say, while you're single, is the time to find yourselves, get to, you just have to trust God. If it's His will for you to get married, then He will send somebody for you. You don't have necessarily to go online and look for someone. And it's not necessarily God's plan for you to get married. You know, He can fulfill, He can help you feel content, just like she feels right now. You know, just trust Him and pray. And if you really feel lonely, just pray and trust that He will take care of you. He will take care of you.
I think that's just too easy for people who have been married or at least in a loving relationship. That's too easy for people to say, oh, you know, just pray, concentrate on yourself. Well, I think I've concentrated on myself long enough. If I'm 50 plus, I've concentrated on myself long enough. So I don't believe it. I don't really buy into that whole thing because it's too easy for people who are married, or if you've been married and divorced, and if you have children. I don't have any of those. So I've never been married and I don't have any children. Am I bitter? It's not a bitterness, but it's a reality. And I don't like people to keep saying, oh, just pray about it, find yourself. Well, how long does it take you to find yourself? And I think that I know myself pretty well. I've done the whole education route. I have 2 undergrad degrees and a master's degree. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't have any vice except for probably clothes and shoes. That's it. So, you know, I don't really buy into that whole thing.
Do you have a hope though to find someone? Or he finds you, I should say?
think the older you become, the chances are much slimmer. Because
I agree
usually
with that.
men are looking for someone younger. And I'm not looking for a sugar daddy. And so, probably not.
So what's wrong with the sugar daddy? Listen,
don't want
the daddy is
someone-
full of sugar. Why not?
Right.
Why not? It's full of sugar.
I
Come
don't
on.
want somebody that's older than my father and looks older than my father. Because
What?
I'm not willing to date my father or date a grandfather. So
Wait a
basically
minute.
that's it.
Oh, hold on. Remember, if he's rich, like for Anna Nicole, he might kick the bucket. And guess what?
I mean, if that was the case, I could have been chasing money a long time ago. I have dated NBA basketball professionals. I've dated NFL players, so it's not about the money.
What about some female out there? They're looking for fame, and they don't care who they're dating. They're looking for fame and money. What
That's-
message do you have for them?
Well, that person definitely has no real morals or values, because if they're just valuing fame and money, they're not really looking for a relationship.
Miss Angel, what do you think?
It's hard to believe that because she's a pretty woman, she's
She-
educated,
That's it.
I mean, she has values. So it's kind of hard to believe that she's not married yet and you can find
And she has a
somebody.
good heart
But
too.
maybe it's because your value, your standard is so high that you don't want anybody. It could be the reason too.
No, and then see, I'm gonna disagree with that as well, because when I did online dating, that's the same response. When I would actually sometimes meet them, sometimes not meet them, and the statement would be, I can't believe that someone who appears like you are, if this is your real photos, would be online dating. And believe me, I have posted just plain not full garb, like baseball hat, different things like that. So, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate tonight, because I'm not the one that really believes.
Well, I'd like to add some hope to this, okay? And the hope
That's
is
great.
that we can all find somebody, and I believe that. We're all very loving individuals. And I believe that someday when the right person comes along, we are gonna find that person. For me, myself, I'm also a widow. So being married, I loved being married, but where I am in my life today is very different than when I was at 21, when I found my husband. The dynamics of children in life, I'm older now, and so I'm looking for something completely different. But I'd like to, at this point, if anybody else, was there anyone else that wanted to share in regards to their experience in dating before we move to the next thing that Gary Chapman has to offer to us?
Online dating, like she says, is the modern day. But for women that really know who they are, believe in themselves, they don't need online dating to find someone.
Where are they?
You know who you are.
No, where do you find them?
Men.
I mean, I never run
Opposite.
into age appropriate men, single age appropriate men, ever.
You don't run into age appropriate men.
Single age appropriate men.
Well,
But,
you're right, Double D. There's a lot of
Double it.
So, what do you, for example, for someone who has not been married, and the pressure, not only that from family members and also from friends, how do you ladies believe, how do you feel about being single again, and when you go to an event, you see other couples together, sharing love, how do you feel?
They think you're abnormal, and they think something's wrong with you. Well, in my case.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they'll say, well, I can't believe, you must be doing something wrong. You must, they put the blame, on me. Well, I'm sure in some incidents I have done some, maybe I actually pushed someone away.
All of us did that.
But for them to turn the tables on you, I don't really attend family functions. And that's one of the reasons why I don't.
Okay. Anyone? Come on, Lava Girl. Come on. Lava Girl, I know, hold on. I know for facts. The lava was so hot. Those guys could not stay for too long. The volcano was erupting.
Absolutely, I agree with that. But that's my that was my old ammunition. That was my old ammunition I had going on there. I got a new ammunition. I got a new volcano erupting in my life now. It's called Jesus.
There you go.
Miss Angel, come on, tell me.
But I am available for the right guy.
You know, life is so funny because many married couples sometimes regret being married because they did not know maybe about the love languages that are discussed in the book, and maybe because they didn't do things the right way. So sometimes we may think we're gonna be happier once married, you know, because we always want what we don't have. We always crave for what we miss, you know. But to tell you the truth, it's just better to try to be happy where we are at now, because nothing guarantees that after being married is gonna be better, any better. So, but I do understand completely the fact that she feels lonely at times, because even married, I do feel lonely at times, you know. It all depends on how the relationship is going on.
So, I mean, technically, what you're trying to say, sometimes instead of being in a bad relationship, it's better to be alone.
Yes.
But there's another thing I realized too. Before anyone can share love, you have to have enough love for yourself. You have to be able, before you can have someone, you have to be able to live with yourself. Feel content being alone. When you can handle I will not say the loneliness, I say me time. You know what I mean? If you can handle me time, so that means you will probably be ready to have together time. So what do you think?
Wow. Well, I want to comment on something that, you know, I decided that I want to start pursuing the possibility of a relationship.
Okay.
So, you know, I decided that I wanted to start some counseling because honestly, after being married for as many years as I was, you don't know what you're looking for. I mean, really, you do know what you're looking for, but is it realistic? The dating scene is a whole different picture than when I was younger. So for me, as Dr. DT mentioned, it's a journey of trying to find out who you are and what you're willing to give of yourself to another human being. Dr. Chapman talks about this, and I want to get into some of the things that he has for recommendations for us to think about and why the challenges are about dating. After reading this, it just kind of opened my eyes that some of the things that we're doing and thinking about might be the wrong perspective. So I thought I'd share that with you. Why are lots of people giving up on dating? Well, maybe they've had a really bad heartache and they're trying to overcome that. Maybe they're, have had heartache after heartache. There's physical frustrations, there's misunderstandings, there's anxiety. All that adds up to an attitude of, why don't I just give up because I've had it? And you know what? Everybody here has value in what they're saying, because the truth of it is dating can be difficult or it can be easy. I don't even think when we were younger, or at least when I was younger, I didn't even think about the word dating. You just did it. There were so many people that you were just, like you were in high school, so you didn't, I mean, even when you're younger, you've got so many friends and there's so many avenues and everybody's single. Well, as you get older, that changes. So the dynamics of that change. Some of the reasons that it fails is that we really don't understand the objectives that we might be needing to take a look at. we should be just thinking about going out and having a good time. I mean, we don't need to be thinking about, I mean, when we go out, and I think you mentioned Lava Girl, I mean, it's just, you go where you feel comfortable and you meet people, and if you meet the right person, that's great.
How do you
Finding-
know? How do you know when you meet the right person?
Well, there's a connection,
There's a
there's, you know. You know, you just got married when you met your wife. How did you know?
There you go.
How did I know?
How
Yeah,
did you
I
know?
Oh man, I was dancing like a monkey.
Was there a physical attraction? That's right. You know.
Exactly.
There's a physical
You knew.
attraction. Everything's great, and you're
No,
on cloud nine.
I would say, for myself,
Uh-huh.
I knew what I was looking for. It's not like something physical, because on my single day,
Mhm.
I was the one who just on Friday, Thursday, my friend called me from Paris, say, hey, there's a party going on. Some of the girls you went to college with, they're going to be there. And I just buy an airplane ticket. I went to Paris for the
Did
weekend.
you really?
Yes. This is, you're talking about, and remember, on Monday, I have court on Monday.
Oh wow.
Okay? On Monday, I have court on Monday. I have to be in court
You were
on
in
Monday.
you were in the fun mode, not on the court mode.
No. I mean, you're talking, sometime I'm on the plane and pick up the phone and call the judge secretary. I say, guess what? Do me a favor, I'd be around like 11. You know,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what to do. So, all this thing, when I was dating, and I believe that life is short.
Yeah.
Life is short, so I did my best to enjoy every single moment of it. You know what I mean? So, being that young, I removed all the bad boy out when I was ready to settle down, and I said, what I'm looking for. First thing, she has to be Christian. Second, I love smart women, strong women. So I have my list there. Yeah, I had my list there, so I knew what I was looking for. And also I do believe that relationship is a roller coaster. Some days high, some days low. You go back from the mountain to the valley and everything. Guess what? You do not. I don't believe in falling in love. That doesn't exist. Falling in love, when you fall in love, one day you will wake up, when you pick up yourself off the floor, you say, what on earth? Most people has it, pretty much, they fell in love when they wake up from that dream. They say, I have to go. When you're in love with that person, no matter what, when you wake up in the morning, you see her and say, who are you? I hate you, but I love you. I cannot live without you. You know what I mean? That's all this thing is there. So people, the way they translate love is completely different. And also, ladies' style, I can tell you that there's nothing wrong with you, number one. You are a beautiful, young, vibrant lady, full of love. Any men out there who find you, I would say they find a treasure. You know, they find a treasure. I can pretty much tell you that. So I still believe that if love is what you want, is what you're after, as a man, the first thing you need to do is to become the person that you're looking for. Okay? Is to become, it does mean that if you're looking for someone adventurous, you have to create room to be an adventurous. Your mind, and also, first of all, you have to ask yourself, where do I see myself 5 years from now from this relationship? What I'm looking for. All these things. And there's another thing too. If you're in a relationship, it's one way, this is bad.
Correct.
It's supposed to be two ways.
Correct.
You know what I mean? If you're in a relationship, you see yourself, you are the one who's giving, you are the giver. The other person is the user.
Correct.
So it's time to say, there's a lovely music I love. It's called Hit the Road, Jack. Don't you come back here no more. You know what I mean? Those are the things. And also, at the same time, what does the Bible say about relationship?
I'm sure you're gonna make it as a singer.
You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing. But
Well, I'd like to hear from somebody that might be listening to the show right now. We want to remind you to call at 561-660-7653. We'd love to have you call and hear your opinions on what we're talking about tonight.
I believe there's a few people that connected, but they're too shy.
Oh,
Too.
okay,
Candy Love is on the portal. That's why.
okay.
Candy Love needs to bring them in.
Trying.
She's working on it.
You
While
know,
we're working on it, go ahead.
Mr. Diddy mentioned earlier about me time.
Yes.
We didn't touch on that, and something just came in my spirit as I was sitting here asking, I always ask myself, well, Lord, why you have me in this place now in my life after being single for so long? And I see so many reasons why, coming out of a relationship from high school, 11, 12 years I was with my boyfriend. Then we broke up. I met my husband maybe 4 months later. We dated for 8 months, got married. When I divorced, which was 5 years later, God said, you need time for yourself. You don't even know yourself. You need to spend time with you. Get to know who you are. Get to know how you can be a valuable entity as a woman to a man in a relationship. Get to grow up some more into who you know you can be. And those are the things that I've been doing. And that's why I come back to the same thing. I've been content because I've been learning myself and who I am and what I can contribute to my life now that it's a new road for me. And my identity in Christ and all these 5 love languages, learning them, learning that when that man do come, I will recognize him, because you ask, how will you know? He asked, how do you know? You will know, but you still have to be open and be ready to receive that man in a way in which you would want to be received. And if you're not there yet, by receiving and loving and being yourself and who you can really be, then you may miss that when he comes.
Absolutely, love a girl.
Double Love,
Totally
you want to say
understand.
something? I
You have
love
to be
that.
happy. You have to be happy with who you are.
Yeah.
I want to say something to Double Love.
Yes.
Double Love, you full of love. Why last time you ran away from love?
I do not know. Well, actually, I'm looking into it, and I have to be more receptive. I'm like, yeah, I'm out there. I got my track shoes on. You like me? Ooh, I'm out of here.
But you're the one looking for
I
someone.
know.
Why would you
It's
run?
crazy. It's crazy. And, I was, just talking to people. It's like you have to have, maybe you might feel unworthy of love, or you're not lovable. And so what do you do about that? How do you suggest getting rid of a belief like that? That's what I need to work on.
I think it's fine
Please go
with
ahead.
who you are.
Well, I would just like to recognize, in Gary Chapman's book, he talks about that our relationships start with our parents. Where we got the feeling of love is from parents. So if you've struggled with a relationship with a parent, it's probably going to carry over into the next relationship. Does that mean that you can't overcome that? No, that does not mean that at all. It just means that as Lava Girl is talking, we need to get to know who we are, what we like, what we don't like. What do we need to change about ourselves in order to be able to give love to another human being? So there is hope, and but our it makes total sense that our love relationship comes with the people that loved on us. And as much as our parents love us, they don't always do the right thing in the respect of love. Everybody has different parents, everybody comes from a different place. Some of those relationships are positive and some of them are negative. And so if you were dealing with 2 parents that are in a negative relationship, how would you know what love even looks like?
Right.
So Another thing I just want to touch upon, and I come from a family of girls, and I have no experience with men, absolutely none. So my experience, yeah, it was always the caregiving to a man and doing for others, and that can irritate a man at times if you do too much for them. So for me, I have to take a look at the men in my life or friendships. Now, Claude happens to be a wonderful friend, so I use him as my mentor for a man, as a friend. That, you know, an example of a good Christian man that would, has a sense of humor, loves women, but is very committed to his wife, but loves people in general. That's what he's about. So, you know, it isn't just about, you know, finding the date. Gary Chapman talks about developing wholesome interactions with the opposite sex. Not looking at each other like you're a man and I'm a woman, but just that you're a human being.
Yes.
And if we take the equation out of men and women, because, you know, the society makes us sex objects at times, and some women like that, but a lot of women don't like that. And for a man, you know, it's definitely a turn on. There's no doubt about it. If you know, I'm sure Claude will be the first person that an attractive woman that, I know, I'm sorry.
No.
DTs. I keep referring to him as Claude, I'm sorry, his stage name is DT. Dr. Discovery Talent.
Yeah, that's him.
He's not going to sit here and tell you that he doesn't look at a nice looking woman.
Listen,
He's not going to tell you
no.
that. What?
Even in my dream, I look beautiful women.
Okay, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. However, he has values.
I have the utmost respect for women.
Yes, you do.
I do. So
That's how your mother raised you.
That's right.
I had no
That's
choice.
how-
My mother
that's
knows
how-
martial arts, so
Yes. You learned to
she raised
respect
you.
her. That's right.
Well, what I learned today is I have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I can change. I have a choice. I can stand in
Yeah.
being receptive, and I am lovable, and I have a choice. I don't have to keep carrying this baggage
You
around.
have to
I'm
believe in
dropping
yourself.
it off.
You have to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, I heard all this thing, and I know we have a guest this evening. I know this is the first time she's here. She's not used to us. She's very shy. But as an author, she's a poet. She writes books, and also the best part of it, guys, put your phone on vibration, please. And also, she's an artist. She's someone who loves. I had a chance to listen to her CDs this morning. She is full of energy for God. In this situation, I know you were single one time.
Yeah.
I know you were single, and not only that, you were single one time, and I know which you used to cause trouble.
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't do much during my single years because I had a very tough mother. She was very strict, and then I joined a church that was very traditional in the way we should date and get married. We didn't even believe in dating, and this is kind of my story. When I came to this country, I met my husband. We didn't date much, and that wasn't a good thing. And actually,
you're not going to go there to find out what was that. You know what I mean?
But anyway, I wanted to do the right thing. I wanted at the time to stay holy and to get married a certain way. So we got married. But really, I wish we had taken our time. I wish I knew more about marriage because my parents didn't tell me too much about relationships. They didn't coach me enough. Yeah. And it's very hard because sometimes I feel like I miss out on a lot of things. And especially when things are not quite the way they should be in the relationship. But despite of everything, I'm trying my best. But as you said, in a relationship, it shouldn't be just hi, it has to be we. all I can say, you are at a place right now where you are learning about relationships, you are sharing things. That's great, because then you'll be more prepared for the ones to be, if it's God's will. Just keep doing what you're doing, and it's better that it takes a long time, but you make the right choice, then comes very fast and you make a bad choice. Because a marriage is supposed to be for a lifetime. You want to have the right companion, because if you do have the wrong person in your life, it's like hell.
Hell on wheels.
Double hell.
Yeah, especially I married my first, and not that I didn't meet many people who wanted to date me, but I was so afraid of sinning that I pushed many away. And just keep learning, keep serving God, and keep trusting and doing your part, and, you know, and I'm sure you'll find someone, because you all of you
God will
who are
give
here,
us.
you're beautiful, and
If you have to do it all over again, what would you change?
well, I always say I would have probably learned. I mean, now I know, you know, there are so many resources available online to learn about relationship, and then there are some churches who also coach. They coach you about marriage. They teach you things before you even get engaged. So I wish I had done all that, and that I wish I knew what I was looking for even more, or maybe that I stuck to what I wanted even more, because at the time I thought it was okay to sacrifice myself to please someone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not true. You have to love yourself first. You have
First.
to know what you want to, and because when it comes to marriage, many times people say opposite attracts. Yes, it is true when we are single, when we are dating. But when it comes to marriage, compatibility is a must. It's a must. So it's a must. Yeah, because then
That's when the person has to meet you, the first one spiritually, on a spiritual level, and intellectual,
yes.
and at the same time, you have to be able to look at the person and say, yeah, the person has to be your friend first.
Love God
Bef-
first.
I mean,
and then,
He has to be your friend. I mean, to develop a relationship, the person has to be your friend. And very, very important, you should not be the one. If you're dating someone, you can see that the person, everything, his family or his mother or her mother. If it's a mother's boy, stay away. If you see his family telling this, stay away. Because you know you're going to be there for a big fight, a big struggle. And if the person, everything you say I, no, it's we. If you are the one who's making all the sacrifices, and no. And you have to test the person you are dating to see if the person is there in the same level. So, yeah.
I would like to just comment on Angele. Angel. I can't get that right.
Just
I will
go-
get it. I'll try.
Angel.
Angel. She says it different.
Her name is not
She's
Angel.
got this.
Her name is Angel for the show.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Angel.
It's very interesting what she said. I'd like to comment on it because it comes back again to those relationships of our parents, because she was taught that it was, if she dated too much, that was sin. Now that affects who she was going to choose for her partner. It's our belief systems that she was taught that as a belief. Unconsciously, that led her in a direction. I mean, she wanted to please her family. That's so important. She loves her family. She wanted to please them. So her perspective of what love is today versus when she was younger, and her belief system came from her parents, her people that loved her the most.
actually, it was my church family.
Oh, your church family. But there was someone that was leading you to believe those thoughts, and as you grew and became, or maybe it was after that you got married. I don't know. At what point did you change your belief system?
about the way I should do things.
Well, that, because you were dating, it's not a sin.
It's a lot about culture too.
Oh, okay.
Is a lot about
It
culture.
was mainly because of the church. Because of the way we were taught at church.
At church,
Yeah.
okay.
It was almost forbidden to date, and if you were to date, you should be, kind of ready financially. You should also have people going on the date with you so that you don't see.
Ay, ay, ay. If it was
How
me,
well would that go over in the culture today?
if it was me, I say, okay, fine. Guess what? Stay right here. I'll be right back. Oh no.
You duck them up, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But all in all,
Amazing,
I really
right?
want to bring it back to that we're all human beings, and that although we have many differences, we're all looking for the same thing. So I think we need to look at each other not as a male or female, but that we're getting to know this person as a friend. How can we? It sounds
I like that.
Pollyanna, what I'm going to say here, but it's really not. And when you love somebody, you're looking to find ways to serve them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, if
But-
you're an acts of
But
service person.
serving is supposed to be both ways.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not 50-50 all the time, but for example, when you're in a relationship with somebody, if that person wants to cook dinner, I might be the person that is with that person because I need quality time. And so if that person is an acts of service, he's making me dinner, I might want to be by his side chopping up the vegetables or helping out. And that's how you get what you need, is because you recognize that person's doing this out of love for me, but I want to have quality time with that person, so I'm going to be in the kitchen with them.
And it's all about
So,
it's really
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
See?
I like
That's
that.
what it's about.
See, and also, ladies, listen. When your man in the kitchen, or they say you're in the kitchen, wear something sexy to invite him.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know about that.
What? You and your man, come on. You married? You married? Come on. Do something sexy. Get some. Okay, Lava girl, come on, help me there.
I am helping you. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. That's it. Yeah. I mean,
Well, how's he
what
going to
is-
concentrate on cooking if he's looking at you all the time?
That's the best
That's the
part.
best
There-
part.
That's the
Okay.
best
You're
part.
flirting
You are
with
the
each
main
other.
Hopefully
menu.
there's no children around.
You are the main
No
menu.
children around.
Okay.
Don't worry, if the food
Mother
burn.
nature.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
me
Oh.
and him. cooking.
Okay.
So many food. Oh.
And I hope that it doesn't burn.
That's the best part. You're building memories. Oh, baby, remember?
What you heard? What you hope don't burn, the dinner or him?
That's the best part. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Well, I know Judith is watching the show right now, and we miss
Butterfly
her.
love, butterfly
Butterfly love.
Butterfly love.
Butterfly love. I mean, she's been flying around. I mean, we miss her.
I know.
You know what I mean? I'm wondering what on earth she's doing. Make sure you don't burn the food, Judith. Butterfly love. Make sure you don't burn it. She's funny.
You have to bring a lot of spice to your relationship. Fun. Once you find out what each other's
That's
love
right.
language is, you have
That's
to
right.
you have to keep
Spice it up.
collaborating with each other and spice.
Well, if there's chemistry, that's
Chemistry,
going to
yeah.
come natural anyway. Chemistry has to be there.
Yeah.
If that's a missing ingredient, it doesn't matter what's here, because
That's
chemistry
true.
has to be there.
Amen.
But, friendship has to be there, chemistry needs to be there.
That's good.
Compassion.
Balance.
Balance.
Yeah.
Balance.
Yeah,
Balance.
there you go. Balance.
But it takes work.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just something,
Takes
so
work.
what if you're compatible, but it has to be, it's always, maybe I'm speaking out of, but I
No.
think it takes a lot of, work.
Well,
It's not easy, and I'm not saying that it's 50-50, but it's something that you both want to work at,
that's right.
so.
And you have to recognize that the first 3 months is the first stage of love. It's all wonderful and everybody's saying great things and, everybody's getting along. then you move into the second stage of love, and it really is all about doing, what is it that I can do for my partner or the person that I'm with? You really have to be giving and think outside the box
Yes,
to keep
yes.
that alive.
Absolutely.
You absolutely, so, when you say it takes work, yes, it does. It takes work to think about, pick up a rose on the way home, just to stop and get that person a rose. I was sharing with Lady Style the other day that there was a posting that one of the girls that I do coaching with, she posted that she came home one day, and on the mirror of her, on the mirror was, "I love my wife, my tiny wife." I love my tiny wife. Do you know what that did for her? Oh my gosh, she was like, my man loves me.
Yeah.
And it's that simple, guys. It doesn't have to be big. We are simple human beings. Small things.
Simple things.
Simple things that we're looking for. Just the fact that that person was thought of when they were away. Could be that simple.
And lovely poems should be okay.
Oh, that's a
you know
great
what I mean?
thing.
Lovely poems, so.
Anything, find out what your lover likes and try to please them.
Yes.
Try the best.
So-
Love makes you want to please anyway.
Exactly.
It's a
When you're
natural
feeling
rea-
love,
it's a
you want to
natural
give
Okay.
response.
What's your love language?
This is so funny because I'm not here by accident because I watched a video about love languages as well not too long ago, probably 2 days ago. I've been watching it and I invited my husband to watch it with me so we could learn together. And here I am, and you're talking about the same thing. And the first book that I believe that I bought about love was The 5 Love Languages 2. He never got to read it, but I read it, and
But
that's
you know what you can do now?
but finding
What
my
did
love,
you
you
find?
know what? I always say balance because I've been thinking about this ever since I watched the video and I've been thinking about our relationship because it's not one thing. Because I'm a lover, I love attention, I love me time. I do believe in balance.
Okay, what tickle your heart?
I love flowers.
See, that's
love
your love
roses.
language.
I do, and I'm not afraid to share it. With my partner, I always say I love flowers. It doesn't matter if it's only one, And sometimes I do not wait, for him to give me any flowers. I go and buy myself flowers.
So it's a gift to yourself. You've learned to do that, and I think that's very important point because, when you're in a relationship, you're not going to get what you want for all the time, right?
Right.
So doing something like that for herself is giving love to herself so she can give that back in a different way.
Yeah.
That's very important. Did we have a caller call in?
No.
Oh, okay.
What happened? They kind of shine. Today is Thursday. They kind of shine.
Probably tired.
Tired. But I like to find. Double love. Okay, double love. I know you try to jump in the water, you touch the water, you say, ouch! You you pull back. So what is your love language?
I thought it was physical touch because I shared last week,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not really sure. Because I have to tell you, the person I was dating did all of these.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
still
how did you
am.
reciprocate that?
Well,
What was your
when you're
reciprocation
feeling
now
loved-
action back to him?
Well,
Which one?
well, ask yourself when you're feeling loved, what one of these things is happening?
What tickle your heart?
Right.
what's the question again?
When you're feeling loved, what's
Tickles
one
your
of
heart.
these 5 things what are you getting when you feel loved? Like when
What
you're
gave you the good
right?
good
What
spot?
gives you good feeling?
I don't.
Is it the presence of another person that's near you?
Yeah,
Possibly.
that'll work.
But so which one of those things is that?
Which is that? Is that quality time?
Yes, quality time, physical touch, act of service.
helping me in the yard.
So you maybe By the way, there is a test you can take, and I actually took that this week myself. And for the next, I should have had that tonight, I might have even written this down. Where you can take this test to find out which love language. It asks you a series of questions so that you can know which love language you are. And that's very important to know, because you can't ask something of someone else if you don't even know what you.
That's correct. And that will prepare you for
have
the
to know
next time you have
what you need
the
in
relationship.
order to ask the person that you're with for what you need.
Well, you know, I've been reading a lot of books too, and they said love is a verb.
In action.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's an act. It's not a state of being. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's an act. It's something you do. You keep doing. You keep working at it. And it said too, like the person that you're with, you practice with that person. Like I mean, that if you're in a relationship, the best is to work on all these different things that come up is while you're in the relationship.
Absolutely.
It's like kind of like a training ground, or
It's an opportunity to get to know another person on a very deep level of what is it that they like and what do they want. And it really isn't about what we need as much as it is giving of yourself. You
To
know?
love is to give.
Mhm.
For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son. So to
That's
love
right.
is to give. So
love is to
when you
give.
love, you wanna give.
That's it.
Yeah.
It should not be hard work. It should be, as a matter of fact, when you are in love,
It doesn't feel like it's.
yeah, you're looking forward.
It's not a burden.
Yeah, you're looking forward. But at the same time, I will say the discouragement is when you give,
You only want give.
you only want to give it, it's become a
And you
burden.
know that's
Of
wrong.
course.
Yeah.
Because
So that's why whenever you're in a relationship, if you say you are the one who's giving, you are the
all
giver,
the time. and
all the
not
time,
receiving anything.
definitely, the red light's supposed to click and say it's time to exit.
Mhm.
You know, so
And you know, I have to comment on that because, I was married for a very long time, and I probably should have exited the relationship sooner than I did, but I loved this person. And I had to learn to love unconditionally because I was married, and I believe in that marriage is in sickness and in health. But by not exiting, I taught my son a few things that maybe he shouldn't have to challenge in the challenges in his life that he's gonna, so we pass things down. If you have children, there's things you're passing down that they're learning that are unspoken as well. But I wanted to also say that dating gives us an opportunity to talk to another person about our values, our spirituality, right?
Right.
Morals. Do we want children? Do we not want children? What do we want if we're gonna be intimate with each other? What do we want? So talking is crucial, and communication is crucial. Sometimes it's not talking like this. Sometimes it's unspoken, but it's that the message on the mirror. But you still have to have good communication.
do you believe or do you think that when you start dating someone, when do you know the right time to talk about the serious stuff? I'm not talking about marriage. About if you want to have a solid relationship with anybody, and this is someone you thinking that one day he might be that person, you know what I mean? Do you think you should have the conversation about finance
Sure.
Finance,
At some point you've got
and
to have
also
that conversation.
children?
Yeah.
Or where do you want to live? Let's say, for example, where you want to, for example, if
Right.
something like that happen, where you want to go on vacation, what school you want to have your children
Right.
go. When is the right time to have this talk? You know what I mean?
During the first phase.
During the first date, you say,
The first phase.
okay.
Uh,
What is the
phase
first
of
phase?
Phase of dating.
Stage one is
Stage one.
anywhere
Talks
from 1
about
to
that.
3 months.
1 to 3 months.
Oh, you ladies, you have things packed down.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. Okay.
That's a good question though. Where do you start?
I think
what
that's
part of
different
the
for everyone,
relationship-
you know, you have to,
Yeah.
intuition is, you
Yeah.
have to have the intuition
ahead,
of
please.
knowing.
Yeah, and I also think that now that we have all these resources available, you should not be afraid to have them take a psychology test because many people are sick out there.
Yeah.
She's rough. She is rough.
I like that.
Yeah, because
Well, then I guess we have to be willing to do that too, if we're
That's
asking
it.
for that, right?
Absolutely,
I totally
absolutely.
agree. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, it's very important.
And there's other tests that are probably good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where have you
Going to the
been?
doctor,
It's not,
exactly.
where have you been? You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
well,
Going to the
because-
doctor together.
Not to judge the other person, but you certainly don't want to have that something passed on to you that you don't want. And in again, that kind of ties into where that person is mentally, and you know, are they going to be honest with you? Are they going to discuss the past with you? We have to be honest human beings. None of us are perfect human beings, and we all come with baggage, whether we want to admit it or not. That's the truth of it. We're just Dr. Chapman and you. We are a work in progress. All of us are as human beings. There's no one that's perfect out there. We've all made mistakes, and some mistakes do make a difference in our lives and pass on to other people.
I have a question.
We going to
Take a
take
break.
Take a short break.
I'll hold that question.
All right.
By the way, you guys, you can still talk to each other. I mean, by the way, you're no longer in the radio, but Facebook, YouTube, they're still watching you. It's fine. It's fine. They still listen to the conversation. It's fine.
You find out that your husband has been dishonest what?
You turn it off there.
Dishonest.
Yeah, you just put it. Let me show
Oh,
you.
you did there.
Where it came from. The mask.
wasn't
Just for me. I
Right now, you
experienced
bring
that.
this up, you know, again, yeah.
Break her
And you
down.
put, see?
I know that's separation, but you know, being married, so.
By the way, you guys, you can have your conversation. The microphone
Or down.
is mute. The
Okay.
microphone, you can talk. The microphone
Oh,
is
that's
mute.
off, okay.
Yeah.
Could always be me.
So you bring all these in the
I was just
microphone.
too young to cope with
Let me
even the thought
turn
of
this one.